Again, at 202, I really like this guy. What do you guys think? Am I way off on any of these guys? I mean, I know opinions are going to vary. But if these guys hit, pun intended, there's tremendous value there for all of them, right? So now we're going to go a little bit deeper. Everybody I've talked about has been at 240 plus, right? Now we're going to go a little deeper. These next handful of players. First guy I want to talk about, and he's been talked about a lot on this network because he is a value. Renato Nunez. I love Nunez in formats where you can substitute him out, set him on the bench. But in all honesty, he is a borderline starter. Again, it's not, 26 years old. This is another one of those guys, just like Walker, he's kind of forgotten about. He was what, a Twins prospect? Sorry, I got to go over and look real quick. He was a Rangers prospect, an A's prospect, kind of thrown away, given the, told to hit the door. But last year he found his opportunity in Baltimore, and in all honesty, it was pretty impressive. 244, 31 homers, 72 runs, 90 RBIs. 90 RBIs. This is another case of a guy taking an opportunity and running with it. Before last year, where he played 151 games, Nunez's career game total in the majors was 241. He had 541 at-bats last year of his career 807. He's been around a while. It's not like he's been 1 or 2 years. He's got 4 years of experience at the major league level. Last year he got his opportunity, though, and he took off with it. So what's changed with Renato Nunez? Not a whole lot. And that's a good thing, right? Because he loved hitting in the middle of that lineup. And if anything, there's going to be more talent around him this year. There's not anybody going to be hitting in the middle of that lineup this year, barring a Chris Davis resurgence, which I frankly don't. We'll talk about him in a minute. Yes, he's on this list. But Nunez, at 26 years old, looks like a fairly safe bet here, right? 244, 31 homers, 72 runs, and 90 RBIs. ADP of 276. We're talking about the 24th round on. If you have more than 4 bench spots, and you have some sort of flexibility with playing him, why not take a chance on this guy? I want to get to Chris Davis, but I don't want to miss Yoenis Cespedes. Now we're going to start going a little bit deeper, right, guys? Because we're talking about value. And value's so subjective. I love Yoenis Cespedes. And Lenny, I know you're kind of perking up a little bit here, right? Because you love the Mets and everything. You know you don't like to admit it out loud. I joke. I'll tell you, if one word with Yoenis Cespedes, health. He's 34. 34 isn't... Certainly, you could still be productive at the age of 34, right? But ADP of 345 means he's fucking free. He's free. You get him with the last pick of your draft. It's looking like, if they play, we're going to be in a scenario where everybody has a DH. God, if this doesn't speak to Yoenis Cespedes, I don't know what does. Here's the thing, George. Welcome, by the way. And I know I'm reaching. But this isn't about reaching. This is about thinking outside the box. Yes, Yoenis had a string of bad luck. You call it bad luck, I'll call it shitty decision making, whatever you want to call it. Last time he played 130 games, 2016, saw Cespedes hit 280 and 31 homers. Yes, for the Metropolitans. In 2015, he hit 291 with 35 homers and 100 plus RBIs. In 14, he hit 260 with 36 homers, 89 runs, and 100 RBIs. My point is twofold. This guy's been battling injuries. He seems to be healthy now. And the DH screams Yoenis Cespedes. If I'm starting a team and I need to flip a DH, as a Cubs fan outside of Kyle Schwarber, I'm looking directly at Cespedes. I'm looking directly at Unibrow. Because that dude can flat out hit. And again, at 345, you're talking about the last pick in the draft. If he doesn't pan out, fuck it. Get another guy. I'm not promising health. I'm suggesting it's possible, George. I'm suggesting it's possible. That's all I'm doing. And with your last pick of the draft, listen, by the way, I've drafted all of these guys in some format. Okay? And every single one of these formats, I've drafted one of these guys. So, that's what it's all about, right? And the same rings true here. I don't want to forget Chris Davis. CH. Guys. 34 years old. Yeah, I know. He's been awful. He's been terrible. The Orioles are paying him a shitload of money. And talent just doesn't leave, right? I feel like last year, you saw some glimpses of Davis kind of snapping out of it a little bit. You saw him working anyway. Can we admit to that, right? Yes, the Orioles made a mistake in paying him 7 years and $161 million. Yes, the Orioles are going to pay for that for the unforeseeable future. But at this point, it's not like Bobby Bonilla, where the Mets pay him and he hasn't been around for 15 years. He is still on the roster. If he is hitting, they sure as shit want to find a place for a $20 million player. So, in the spring, and I know this is all subjective, we're kind of all reaching at straws a little bit right now, right? In the spring, he was killing the ball. 467, 3 homers, and 9 RBIs in just 15 at-bats. Methinks Davis is sick of getting battered around and being the laughingstock of the league. Yes, I said methinks. So, again, this is about value. You're talking about Davis at a 397 ADP. I said I've drafted all of these players. I have indeed drafted Chris Davis. Just in one league. $7,161,000. 7 years, excuse me. You're absolutely right, George. It was a huge mistake. But if the Orioles can salvage even a half of a year out of him, bet your sweet Bippy they're going to do it. Now, the other part, and I meant to mention this about Nunez, it's equally useful here. Austin Hayes, Ryan Mountcastle are only going to take pressure off of the Nunezes and the Davises of the world when they come up, and they are successful, because I believe they will be successful. Again, with a guy like Davis, you take him with your last pick. And if he pans out, great. If not, you throw him back in, you get someone else, right? One more player I want to talk about, and then I'm going to jump off of here. It's funny, I always come on here, especially lately. You come on here and you're like, shit, how am I going to talk for an hour? There's not anything going on. By the way, we should be what? Going into our second week of organized baseball? So, I think it's important to earmark that, to take notice of that, because we're manufacturing information. It's not that it's not relevant information. Again, if you heard me earlier, it's about talking about holistically thought process and why we come to certain conclusions, right? I'd sure shit love to be telling you about, Kyle Schwarber starting off hot, or Ian Happ having, a great first couple weeks. Trevor Bauer looking like Trevor Bauer of old. All that happy crap, right? But we're just not right there. And that's okay. We'll make the best of what we got, because we love this sport. We love fantasy sports. And we do this to pass the time, right? I didn't even talk about tonight. I broke out the strong stuff. Russell's Reserve. Russell's Reserve is the whiskey of choice this evening. Russell's Reserve is a wild turkey, top shelf basically. It is quite tasty. I think I'm getting a tolerance, because normally I'm on my second pour and it's really not kicking my ass like it had in the past. But that's okay. That's okay. Cheers, everyone. Sorry. Cheers, everyone. Last player I want to talk about. Next week, I said this, I think I want to talk about rookies next week. Do a second version of prospects and rookies, because it's just such a wide open topic. And I feel like it isn't done right often. So I'll give you my version, and you guys, keep me honest. Maybe I screwed up. I mean, we all, I was a Byron Buxton fan. I still am, by the way. Last guy that I'm interested in, and again, you can correlate this right back to Cespedes, right back to some of the other players' health. Hunter Pence. Hunter Pence is back in San Francisco, which is weird. He's 37 years old. His ADP's 532. Boy, he kind of had a resurgence last year, right? Not kind of, he definitely did. 297, 18 homers in just 83 games. He's probably not going to play a full season. But